John Henry Weston on Life Size Channel. I'm so bad with the hands tonight. Talking with my hands only. John Henry Weston interviewed Ron Tosserero, I think his name. He's an Australian guy. I didn't watch the interview. I just saw that he interviewed him, and that's what reminded me of.
So what's he sound like then, Anthony?
Good night, mate. I know, John Henry Weston. Anyway, so the bungee noise. All right, so John Henry Weston interviews this guy, and his interview, I didn't watch it, but it reminded me of the documentary I saw, because what happened is this guy Ron Tosserero or whoever his name is, him and this news anchor back in the 90s, it was coming up on it was the year 1989. It was coming up on the year Y2K was coming. Everybody was talking about the end of the world, and all around the world, back then you started seeing all these statues bleeding. There were a lot of miracles back then. Like my mom, this is back when my parents went to Medjugorje. My mom was storing.
It's also about the same time eBay came out and the stuff started to appear on eBay. So I don't know if there's a correlation there.
So you're talking. My mom was stacking cans of food in the basement, thinking Y2K was going to be the end of the world, because all these apparitions are happening all over the world. You're starting to see statues bleeding. Yeah. There's weeping statues.
Did she stock on Chef Boyardee too, or is that like anathema to Italians?
I literally still like Chef Boyardee. I like SpaghettiOs too. You gotta eat gutter sometimes, man. So, what was I gonna say? Oh, so this guy goes around investigating miracles. Now he goes around and investigates like 10 different miracles. 5 of them are nonsense, but 5 of them are legit. They're statues bleeding. One of them's a bleeding host, right? It's a Eucharistic miracle. Now, when the guy goes and does DNA testing on all this stuff, don't ever lecture anyone on food tastes again. Listen, I grew up poor, bro. We got 8 siblings. You think my mom made a 3-course meal every night or something? Stop it. Sometimes you had Chef Boyardee. So so 5 of them were legit. They were bleeding statues, and when they did the blood samples on them, they all came back the same way. They come back with no DNA
AB
profile,
blood.
AB blood. It's like they all come back the same. But this woman getting the stigmata was definitely the highlight of the show. And I cut it down to about. I have the full hour-long show.
You sent me an 8-minute clip.
I sent you an 8-minute clip of just the woman getting the stigmata, and it's so old. I don't think we'll get any copyright issues on it. So I figured it'd be good to play.
So we're gonna play all 8 minutes. Or at least
we'll play it, and we'll stop it, and we'll talk in between, and
this is it, right?
Yes.
This one? Okay.
On the night before, that Thursday night. It is Thursday morning, and Cartier has agreed to let us take blood samples.
Yeah. Squeeze your finger back there a little bit.
Yeah, if she does have the predicted stigmata tomorrow, and we'll also take blood from those wounds for comparisons.
Do you need more? A little bit more.
Cartier believes the blood from the stigmata may not be exclusively hers.
When you have these wounds, who do the wounds belong to?
Jesus.
That evening, when we return to Cartier's house, she appears to be happy and well. But soon she becomes distracted and introspective.
She's beginning to get the anguish.
Even if I am with many people, I feel lonely and abandoned. Like I am not understood by many people.
What's with 90s stuff and like crappy background music that really just distracts you?
Terrible background music, and just look at how much video has advanced. Really the quality of the video since 99. It's crazy.
I was gonna say, like, this is what everything used to look like when I was a kid, but yet I don't remember it being this bad.
You thought this was high def.
Yeah.
Like this was this was perfect. You never thought anything of it.
Okay, let's continue.
I feel weak, like I cannot do anything.
Tell that person. Thank you. Yeah. She's probably wearing Cartier.
She's crying.
Cartier has quietly left us. We find her alone in her prayer room.
Unirte amorosamente a mis dolorosas llagas, orar en silencio, escuchar el silencio, dejar que como el viento mi espíritu respire por todo.
We should have Mark on to translate. He left too early.
Yeah.
Los recodos de tu alma. Es una maravilla.
¿Eso te ha salido?
Este libro que he abierto.
Santificados. Creo que he hecho el grupo para las paces, ¿no?
I start crying for any reason. As the hours go by, it is such an anxiety that I cannot be at ease anywhere. The pain comes and
I probably could have
goes,
cut this first
and I
few
start
minutes out, but I
praying.
wanted you guys to see.
Then there is a very deep sadness.
I wanted everybody to see like the build up to it, and especially the reporter. But yeah, go ahead. Play it. You'll see when she starts laying down.
We still don't know
just
if
appear.
Katia will have the stigmata tomorrow, but what she says she is feeling now is the emotional suffering which always comes first. It is, she says, the worst time.
I think
Seems
she
to
is
us there is
still
little
alive,
doubt.
Caitlin.
So she like has her own little agony in the garden before her own
Oh, yeah.
passion. It seems like.
Yeah, so it starts. I think at like 9 in the morning it starts, or like 10 in the morning, and at 12 o'clock she starts actually getting the stigmata, and it lasts for 3 hours until 3 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah.
That what she is feeling now is real and profound.
Now, no doubt, Michael, it seems very moving and very disturbing. But again, there are viewers out there who'll say she's faking it, it's psychosomatic. How confident were you being there that she would actually go through the physical stigmata the following day?
I wasn't confident. I
Well,
did
this
have a
is the day
feeling that it
before,
would
the
happen the next
agony.
day. But the question of whether it's psychosomatic is a very relevant point. There are doctors, psychiatrists, even priests who believe the external signs of the stigmata can be psychosomatic. So if Katia was somehow mentally self-inducing all this, then her distress that night could not be seen as conclusive proof of the stigmata to come. We had to wait for the Friday. Jesus is said to have started to carry the cross at midday and died at 3 p.m. So those were the hours we were watching for.
You can leave it playing while I talk, but this wasn't just like, it was also a
It's 12
prophecy, because she told him the day to come. She said, "This is the day I'm going to get it. Come this day."
I check Katia for any visible signs, but there is nothing.
So these are scars from previous stigmata. There's nothing fresh.
As the minutes pass, her pain appears to intensify. Is the stigmata really about to show itself?
I think it's yearly. I think every Good Friday or
Katia's
Corpus
spiritual
Christi
advisor, Father Renzo Cecilo, is by Katia's side. He notices that her forehead has begun to bleed from tiny wounds, which would be consistent with the crown of thorns.
She feels it's burning.
Can I see Katia? Excuse me. It's 12:15. The first mark of the stigmata on the hand is now appearing.
A tiny cross has appeared on Katia's hand.
Descendió a los infiernos y al tercer día
You
resucitó
think
de
how
los
different from
muertos.
Padre Pio, right? Padre Pio
Subió a
just
los
had
cielos
it.
y está sentado en la tentación y a los hermanos. Amén.
What did you say about Padre Pio?
Wounds now
Like Padre
appear.
Pio just had it for years. Like hers, she goes through it every Corpus Christi, I think.
Intensifies
Every feast of
praying.
Corpus Christi.
Salve María, llena eres de gracia, Señor es contigo.
As carefully as I can, I take the samples we need for our blood tests.
Santa María, Madre de Dios,
I'm
ruega
going to stay away from the wound, which clearly has come through very dramatically and very quickly now.
Gloria al Padre, al Hijo y al Espíritu Santo. Madre de Dios, ruega por nosotros pecadores, ahora y
Just one more, Katia. Thank you, Katia.
We've been with Katia for more than an hour, and her wounds have continued to deepen. She is bruised and grazed, below her left eye. Are these the wounds of Christ?
That's why they struck Jesus with the reed.
Relax your hand there. I'm sorry, Katia.
No. Es mi pulmón.
Katia appears to be in great pain. For those of us present, it feels very real and very disturbing. Friends who have come to pray with Katia gently wrap her bleeding hands with bandages.
Ay. Llenándose de agua.
Sus pulmones se están llenando de agua.
Yes, I will. I'll send it to you. I'll give it to Rob. Actually, let me see.
Her lungs are filling up with liquid.
It is now 2:45. If you believe that Katia is suffering as Christ did on the cross, then she is now reaching the final stages of the crucifixion and approaching death from prolonged torture. Katia's daughter, Tatiana, has arrived to help her mother. It is heartbreaking and frightening. Her mother's pain is affecting everyone in the room.
All right. So what I did was I sent you the link to part 1. So Rob's going to put the link to part 1 up. It's a 10-part, it's 10 different clips. I gave Rob part 1. What you do is when you click on part 1, go to this person's channel and they have the playlist. It's a 10-part series, the entire document. Now the documentary, they go to do all the statues that are bleeding. It's like several miracles that they go and they inspect. Now a few of them are fake, like there's one or two that are like flowers or something and it winds up being nonsense, but the statues bleeding and the Eucharistic miracle, those are all real. And so John Henry Weston interviewed the guy Ron Tesario. That guy actually went and did the first video I ever saw, like the first Eucharistic miracle video I ever saw was by that guy. And it's really well done. And he actually goes and they do the Eucharistic miracle that was in Buenos Aires while Cardinal Bergoglio was there, who actually didn't want it to be tested. And they had to fight to get it tested. So Jorge Bergoglio did not want it to be tested. So Rob put the link up. You guys can go watch part 1 and then just click on it. It may even just show up part 2 after that, part 3 after that. But if you guys click on that, I'll have Rob try and put it in the show notes for anybody watching this video at a later date. It's a great documentary. And it's old, but it was one of the videos that led to my conversion. It was like not led to it, but like it was right after I converted and I was really excited and looking up for miracles and things like that. And it's a really well done hour-long news program that they did. So you'll have to go and check it out. I think it was just her blood. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it was Jesus's blood, but the blood from the statues and the Eucharistic miracle were both type AB and had no DNA profile, which is always the case in every Eucharistic miracle, because if we ever were able to get a DNA profile from Jesus, these lunatics would try and clone him. You think I'm kidding? These lunatics would try and clone him, and that would wind up being the Antichrist or something. Like, you gotta be. That's why I believe that's why you never get a DNA profile from any of the blood samples from any of the Eucharistic miracles.
What next?
Well, we gotta